Chapter 2 Operational Strategy.
Topic 1. What is the strategy and what is operations strategy?
Linguistically, the word strategy derives from the Greek word strategos, meaning leading an army. And although there is no direct historical link between Greek military practice and modern ideas of strategy, the military metaphor is powerful. Strategy is important because nakakaapekto ito sa bawat empleyado at nagsisilbing isang naaaksyon na pamaraan upang maabot ang mga layunin sa isang kampanya. Ang isang makabuluhang pakinabang ng estatikong pagpaplano ay ang paglikha ng isang salong na pananaw na nakatuon sa pagsulong maaaring ihanay ang iyong kumpanya at sa mga shareholders nito. Next is operational strategy. Operational strategy concerns the pattern of strategic decisions and actions that set the role, objectives, and activities of the operation. Strategy is usually regarded as the opposite of those day-to-day routine activities, but operation are not the same as operational. Next is operations, are the resources that create product and services. Lastly, the operational. It is the opposite of the strategic, meaning day-to-day and detailed, so can examine both the operational and the strategic aspect of operations. It is also conventional and do distinguish the content and the process of the operational strategy. From implementing to supporting driving strategy is strategy. First, implementing business strategy. The most basic role of operation is to implement a strategy. You cannot, after all, touch a strategy. You cannot even see it, or you can see it how the operation behaves in practice. Number 2 is supporting business strategy. Support strategy goes beyond simple implementing a strategy. It means developing the capabilities which allow the organization to improve the refine its strategic goals. Number 3 is driving business strategy. The third and the most difficult role of operation is to drive in strategy by giving it a unique and a long-term advantage.
Stage 1. Internal neutrality. The very first level of contribution by the operation functions. It is holding the company back from competing effectively. Paradoxically, its goal is to be ignored or internally neutral. At least, then it is not holding the company back in any way. It attempts to improve by avoiding making mistakes. Stage 2. External neutrality. The first step of breaking out of stage 1 is for the operation functions to begin comparing itself with similar companies or organizations in the outside market, being externally neutral. Stage 3. Internally supportive. Stage 3 operations are among the best in the market. Yet, Stage 3 operation skills aspire to be clearly and unambiguously the very best in the market. They achieve this by gaining a clearer view of the company's competitive or strategic goals and supporting it by developing appropriate operations resources. Stage 4. Externally supportive. Yet, Hayes and Wellwright suggest a further stage, Stage 4, where the company views the operation functions as providing the foundation for its competitive success.
Topic to the difference between a market requirements and an option strategy.
Market requirement-based strategies. No operation that continually fails to serve its market adequately is likely to survive in the long term. Without an understanding of what market requires, it is impossible to ensure that the operation is achieving the right priority between its performance objectives, quality, speed, dependability, flexibility, and cost, order winning and qualifying objects. A particular useful way of determining the relative importance of competitive factors is to distinguish between order-winning and qualifying factors. First, order-winning factors are those things which directly and significantly contribute to winning business. Qualifying factors may not be the major competitive determining of success but are important in another way.
Order-winning factors show a steady and significant increase in their contribution to competitiveness as the operation gets better at providing them. Qualifying factors are givens. They are expected by customers and can severely disadvantage the competitive position of the operation if it cannot raise its performance above the qualifying level. Less important, objectives have little impact on customers no matter how well the operation performs in them. The products or service life cycle influence on performance objectives. First, introduction stage. When a product or service is first introduced, it is likely to be offering something new in terms of a design or performance, with few competitors offering the same product or service. The needs of customers are unlikely to be well understood, so operations management needs to develop the flexibility to cope with any changes and be able to give the quality to maintain product and services performance. Growth stage. As volume grows, competitors may enter the growing market. Rapid and dependable response to demand will help to keep demand buoyant, while quality levels must ensure that the company keeps its share of the market as competition starts to increase. Maturity stage. Demand starts to level off. Some early competitors may have left the market and the industry will probably be dominated by a few larger companies. So, operations will be expected to get the cost down in order to maintain profits or to allow price cutting or both. Because of this, cost and productivity issues together with dependable supply are likely to be operations' main concerns. And last, decline stage. After time, sales will decline with more competitors dropping out of the market. There might be a residual market, but unless a shortage of capacity develops, the market will continue to be dominated by price competition. Operations objectives continue to be dominated by cost.
Intangible resources. Intangible are considered as the building blocks of the operation. An operation resource perspective must start with an understanding of the operation's capabilities and constraints within the operation. It must answer the simple question: what do we have and what we can do? Within the operation, the equivalent of this mechanism is a processes. An operation intangible resources includes its relationship with the supplier, the reputation it has its customer, its knowledge of its process technologies, and the way its staff can work together in new product and services development. Strategic resources and sustainable competitive advantage. They are scarce. Unequal access to resources so that not all competing firms have scarce resources such as ideal locations, experienced engineers, proprietary software, and etc. can strengthen competitive advantage. They are not very mobile. Some resources are difficult to move out of a firm. They are difficult to intimate or substitute for. These two factors help define how easily a resource-based advantage can be sustained over time.
How can operation strategy form the basis for operations improvement? 1. Achieving alignment. This means achieving an approximate balance between required market performance and actual operation performance. Number 2. Achieving sustainable alignment. It is enough to achieve some degree of alignment to a single point in time. 3. Improving overall performance. If requirements placed on the organization by its markets are relatively undemanding, the corresponding level of operations capabilities will not need to be particularly high. A strategic view of operations improvement priorities. Judging importance to customers. One usually needs to use the slight more discriminating scale. One way to do this is to make the three broad categories of competitive factors: order winning, qualifying, and less important, and divide each category into three further points representing strong, medium, and weak points. Judging performance against competitors. A competitive performance standard would against merely of judge whether the achievement performance of an operation is better than, the same, or worse than of the competitors.
Topic 4. How can operation strategy be put together? The process of operation strategy. Operation strategy formulation. The formulation of operation strategy is the process of clarifying the various objective and decision that make up a strategy and links between them. Some firms will have a regular, for example, annual planning cycle, and operation strategy consideration may form part of this, but the extent of any changes made in each annual cycle is likely to be limited. The complete process of formulating an entirely new operation strategy will be a relatively infrequent event. Operation strategy implementation. Operation strategy implementation is the way that strategies are operationalized or execute. It means attempting to make sure that intended strategies are actually achieved. Operation strategy monitoring. Monitoring should be capable of providing early indicators, or a warning bell, as some call it, by diagnosing data and triggering appropriate changes in how the operation strategy is being implemented. Having created a plan for implementation, each part of it has to be monitored to ensure that planned activities are indeed happening. Any deviation from what should be happening, that is, its planned activities, can then be rectified through some kind of intervention in the operation. Operation strategy control. Strategic control involves the evaluation of the results from monitoring the implementation. Activities, plans, and performance are assessed with the intention of corrective future action if that is required. At the strategic level, controls can be difficult because strategic objectives are not always clear and unambiguous. The more uncertain the environment, the more an operation needs to emphasize this form of strategic flexibility and develop its ability to learn from events.
Thank you.